What's up everybody, how's it going? It's Berk, aka Dansgreat here, and I wanted to record this hangout for you guys just before the storm begins. If you guys watched the last hangout that I did, it was called A Storm is Coming, and I had mentioned this particular time of the year and the madness that would ensue. And today is kind of literally the calm before the storm. I'm waiting for a copy of Horizon Zero Dawn Forbidden West. I've recorded all the Final Fantasy IV that I want to record, so I don't want to do any more recording for that. And so I'm just sitting and patiently waiting to get started on Horizon Zero Dawn. So in case you missed the previous hangout, I do want to mention a few things just so that people are up to date on what's going to happen on the channel over the next few weeks, because it is a particularly crazy time and these kind of times don't come around too often. So especially since today I didn't have anything specifically to record, I thought why not just sit down and do a hangout for you guys. So for those of you guys that are watching Final Fantasy IV, thank you to everyone that's been tuning in so far. The series is doing well, again, as I continue my journey back in time and do the earlier Final Fantasy titles. You guys have continued to support the content and have continued to enjoy it, especially when I'm hanging out on the 24/7 stream and chatting with you guys. A lot of people are saying that they're enjoying the series and having a good time, so that's great to hear. I'm really enjoying the game too. It's definitely, I can see why it's one of the classics, and considering that it's the first Final Fantasy where I think they made a proper attempt to tell a big story and all of those kind of things, and considering the time when it was released, it really is a great game and I'm definitely having a good time. As of recording this video, I think I've recorded about 26 hours or so, so I've got plenty of content recorded, but because I was going to start Horizon Zero Dawn 2 and Elden Ring, I didn't want to sort of try to rush to complete the game because I want to enjoy the finale as well. And so once I'm done and I've got enough content for Horizon and Elden Ring, then I'm probably going to go back to it and gain a little bit more momentum before I get towards the finale. So I didn't want to record like 95% of the game and then Horizon arrives and then either I rush to complete the final few hours, or I take like a break for a month from Final Fantasy IV and I come back to just do the ending from like a cold start. So that's why I've left it at this particular point. I think it's at a sweet spot right now, and I'm definitely looking forward to playing it again once this madness is over. So what that means for the series, as I mentioned in the last hangout, episode 35 is going to be the final one that I upload for now. So consider that like a end of disc 1, end of disc 2, end of the season, whatever you want to call it. So after episode 35 of Final Fantasy IV, it's going to be going on a break. I'm not entirely sure how long it's going to be. It might be 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, or something like that. It's not going to be like 3 months or whatever, but it's going to be a little bit of time because I do want to get going with Horizon and Elden, because those two are such big games. They're two of the most anticipated games we've had for a long time. And for me, that kind of thing happens very rarely where they kind of overlap so heavily. So I need to put my focus into that. And I know that you guys are here for Final Fantasy IV. It's not going anywhere. Of course, under normal circumstances, we'd continue the momentum and complete the series as I pretty much always do. But for this sort of special circumstance, Final Fantasy IV is going to have to go on the back burner for a few weeks while I focus on the new and exciting Horizon and Elden Ring. So that's the main thing that I wanted to make sure people were aware of. Final Fantasy IV will be on a break for a few weeks, but rest assured it's coming back and I have been enjoying the run, so there's plenty more to come from Final Fantasy IV for those of you guys that have been enjoying it. Aside from that, I've been continuing to sprinkle in some Final Fantasy X content in recent times. It's getting to that stage where it has been a little while now since I've completed the P. Birdman mod, and you know how it is with me. The itch to play Final Fantasy X, it's one of those where it resets and then it starts to grow again, and it's just like, at the moment, let's say it's at like 40%. It was at 5% like 5 months ago, but it's starting to creep back, and eventually it's going to hit 100%, and I'm going to decide to do some kind of playthrough. But for now, I'm not too interested in doing like an actual playthrough of Final Fantasy X, but there are pieces of content that I want to make. So in recent times, I've been making a bigger effort to make a note of any ideas that come into my head, because it does happen quite often where I think of something and I feel like I'm going to remember it. It's a good enough idea that I won't forget, and then I get caught up with other things and I come back to it and it's like, oh shit, what was that idea that I had for a video? And sometimes it slips away. So I have been making a note of ideas, and you've seen some of them already. 2 examples of such content I've made in the last couple of months is the first Final Fantasy save video that I did, which was a lot of fun to go back through my first ever wacky save file for Final Fantasy X. Again, if you guys haven't seen it, please check it out on the channel. And the second one was the start of some glitch content I want to show you guys, because glitches are something that I hadn't really investigated too much myself. I knew about a lot of them, but I hadn't really tested them and I hadn't really tried them and showcased them to you guys. So I started with the Chocobo race glitch, which was again a lot of fun, and a lot of people didn't know about it, myself included at the time. So that's also on the channel. Now, aside from that, I have jotted down some more ideas, so there is more Final Fantasy X content in the pipeline. Literally last night I was working on one that involves basically reading through almost the entirety of the game script, and that should be an interesting one for you guys to see as well, so I'm looking forward to doing that too. But before all of that, the next video that's coming is going to be another Final Fantasy glitch video, and in this one we're going to be looking at the biggest glitch that exists in Final Fantasy X. So before Horizon Zero Dawn began, I wanted to drop another big Final Fantasy X video, so that video will be coming very soon, and I think you guys again will enjoy it because there are some pretty wacky things that happen as a result of this glitch. Just a quick plug for my Patreon. I don't do this too often, but if you guys are interested in supporting the channel in an even bigger way, on Patreon there are definitely perks that you can benefit from. One of those is to gain early access to these one-off Final Fantasy videos that I make. You'll be able to see those before anyone else is, and there's a whole bunch of other perks available too, so please consider checking out the Patreon if you do want to go the extra mile to support the channel and the content. So once that glitch video is out, that will be the last Final Fantasy X content again for like a couple of months or so, because I'm going to be so focused on Horizon Zero Dawn, Elden Ring, and the return of Final Fantasy IV, but there is Final Fantasy X content in the pipeline, and I have some interesting ideas for videos for sure. So rest assured, there will be more Final Fantasy X content coming, and as like a longer term thing, that itch to do another run of the game is slowly starting to grow, so I'll put that out there, but honestly, I really don't know how I'll play the game again or in what way I'll do it. Will it be live streams again, or will it be like some interesting different kind of run? At this point I don't know, but it's coming. Like in the next maybe 6 to 12 months I do feel like I'll probably get started with some kind of Final Fantasy X playthrough again, but at this point I don't know what it is, but we'll see. So to round things off, as I say, Horizon Zero Dawn Forbidden West, I'm really looking forward to that game. The reviews have come in and it's got the same review score on Metacritic that it did for the first one. Now, the first one was basically one of my favorite games on the PS4, one of the best games of its generation. I think recently they announced that it sold like over 20 million copies. I thought it was fantastic, one of the most beautiful games of its generation too. The story was deep. I really was interested in the story and the world and the different perspectives and the different ideas and the big ideas and morals that were discussed in the story too. It really had a lot to offer, and I thought it was a really fantastic experience. So Forbidden West, I've seen like the visuals and the tech review from like Digital Foundry. The game looks absolutely stunning on PS5, and it's the first game where I'm like, I'm glad I have a PS5 to be able to play this at launch, because it looks phenomenal and I can't wait to share it with you guys. I will mention quickly that yes, I am hype about the PS5 version, but based on what Digital Foundry has said and the small snippets that I've seen, it seems to look and run really nice on the PS4 as well. So don't take my word for it, wait for content to come out. I do have a base PS4, so I'm considering making a video where I just play through like a section of the game where you can just see an eye test of how it looks on the PS4. But based on what I've seen so far, from the media at least, the PS4 version looks to be solid too. But at least if you have a base PS4, I'd be a bit more cautious and I'd like maybe not pre-order or not to get a digital version in case you can't return it or anything like that. But from what I've seen so far, it does look good, and even if you have a base PS4, it should run okay. Like, it's not going to look the greatest, especially when you compare it to PS5, but I do believe it runs fine, and the PS4 Pro version, I do believe is pretty damn good considering how much detail and action there is in the game. So that's what I know so far, but I'm not going to say anything further than that because I don't have the game myself, so I can't confirm. But look out for the likes of Digital Foundry on YouTube if you're curious. If you don't have that PS5 and you're wondering how will my PS4 run it, it's definitely valuable information, and you might see a video from me about it as well, but at this stage I'm not too sure how I'll tackle it. So I thought I'd just mention that too. So I'm really hoping that you guys will enjoy the series once it begins, especially for part 1. Maybe even if you're not going to watch the full series, do show it some love and support, because these part 1s are so crazy. You're competing against the entire rest of the world to try to get some new eyeballs on your content. So any extra bit of likes and comments and watch time and interaction that those part 1s can get, the better chance it has of some new people finding it and getting to enjoy the giant archive of content that I have on the channel. So I definitely appreciate it if you guys could show that video some love when it does drop. It's going to be a pretty difficult crunch for me because this game is one that's close to my heart. I've been looking forward to it for so long, and who knows when we'll see the next Horizon Zero Dawn game. So I don't want to just go in and rampage through the game, just do like some really condensed, quick rush, like 25-30 hour run in like a week, and then try to release it because of Elden Ring coming straight after it. I still want to immerse myself as much as I can and enjoy the game at my own pace, and just increase the rate of my uploads as opposed to trying to record like a crazy amount of content within the first week. It's something that I want to try to savor and enjoy as much as I can. Now, that might not mean that I do every single thing in the game, you guys know how it works, but in terms of like my general approach to it, I'm not going to put myself under like big time pressure to make sure I complete the game by a certain time or whatever. So that's going to be the deal with Horizon Zero Dawn, and that will hopefully be starting within a few days of you watching this video. Please look out for it on the channel and support it. Once Horizon Zero Dawn kicks in, barely a week will go by and Elden Ring will be coming. Now, Elden Ring, I'm also extremely excited about that game, but in like a completely different way. So hopefully you guys would have seen the Bloodborne run that I did on the channel. It was one of the first ones of its kind, and honestly, for all its frustration and difficulty and challenge and the amount of recording I had to throw away because of like repeat attempts and all of that kind of stuff, I had a wonderful time. And again, Bloodborne has got to be one of the best games on the PS4. It was absolutely fantastic. Elden Ring, it looks really great so far. It's a different kind of style from Bloodborne for sure. It's got like the open world element. There's even a little bit of stealth going on and that kind of thing. So for me, again, I've not played any of the Dark Souls games. I've not played Sekiro. So I'm going to be basically tackling it as a complete noob. And for you guys, that can always be entertaining to watch, because seeing someone like me immerse myself in these games, get lost in them, do terribly with them, and then sort of find a way to survive, find a way to win, make my way through and get stronger and get better at the game, I generally think that that's a nice process to watch over time. So Elden Ring, again, I'm super excited about. I'm not sure what the review code situation is going to be. Namco Bandai has me on like their reviewer code list, but that's always a very vague kind of thing. I don't know if I get the game like a week early, 3 days early, a day before release, or on the day of release. Same story with Horizon Zero Dawn. Literally, Sony, their PR agency on Friday, used the word shortly for when I'll receive the code. That was like 4 days ago. So 4 days ago I was going to receive a code shortly, but I still have nothing as of making this video on Tuesday afternoon. So that's just how it goes in this business. We're very privileged to even get anything, so I'm not going to complain about it, but just in terms of mapping out your time and knowing when a code is going to arrive and what you can record and what you can work on, it's very difficult to tell. So we're going to see how it goes. I'm going to do my best to sort of upload Horizon Zero Dawn and Elden Ring concurrently for a little while, and we'll just see how that plays out. With Final Fantasy IV kind of pushed to the side a little bit for a few weeks, that's going to give me the breathing space I need to make some progress with Horizon and Elden Ring. So hopefully you guys will be getting to enjoy, potentially, again, 2 of the best games of its generation on the PlayStation 5. So that's going to be the goal. Thank you all for the continued support on the channel. You guys are going to be treated to some great content, hopefully, over the next few months. We got Horizon Zero Dawn, we got Elden Ring, we got Final Fantasy IV continuing, and we got some more Final Fantasy X content to come as well. So plenty of things to enjoy. So I'll see you all soon. For those of you that are going to be playing Horizon Zero Dawn and or Elden Ring, I hope you guys enjoy it. And to everyone that will be watching and supporting on the channel, thank you all in advance, and I hope you have a blast with the series. So I'll see you all soon. Thank you for watching. Take care.